Before we get started with today's show, I got to ask you guys this. How many wins do you think the Bucs need to win the NFC South? Last year, not a great division, sort of the joke of the division in the NFL. How many wins do you think the Bucs need to win the NFC South? Let me know while we get the intro rolling. You're watching Bucs Breakdown presented by Prize Picks. My name is Reed Barkus. Wherever you're watching, whenever you're watching, hope you're having a great day. This is crazy. CBS Sports is disrespecting the Buccaneers in their latest article. That's what we're going to be talking about on today's show because I know last year was not very good for us and the division as a whole, but they're clowning us. And I just have to tell you guys and sort of vent basically because the NFC win totals for 2026 came out. CBS Sports was talking about them. The Buccaneers are actually ahead of everybody else in the division in terms of win totals. They have it set at 8.5, 7.5, 7.5, 6.5. So for the Saints, the Panthers, and the Falcons, 7.5, 7.5, and then 6.5 for the Falcons. Falcons are not going to be good this year, but we'll get to that in a second. That is not why I thought it was disrespectful, though. 8.5 wins. I can see after last year, we had a really bad stretch of going like 2-7 towards the end of the year. And I kind of understand why they would put it at 8.5. This is not CBS Sports. This is just Vegas in general putting it 8.5. That's not why I thought it was disrespectful, though. We'll get to that and why I was kind of I read the title of this article and I was like, whoa. Like just because we had a down year last year and we didn't win the division outright for the first time in a couple years, like, what, we're gone? Because this is how their CBS Sports article went. They looked at each win total for the entire NFC South, decided if they would win more or less than their projected wins, and then gave a summary of why. So we're going to go through each team. We're going to start with the Falcons, go to the Panthers, go to the Saints, and then we'll finish with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. First, let's look at the Falcons. We'll go pretty quickly through the Atlanta Falcons because they're not going to be good this year, guys. They were not good last year. They're not going to be good. And CBS Sports had this to say, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance. And it remains to be seen if the Falcons have a quarterback. Michael Penix Jr. is coming off that third torn ACL of his career, so the Falcons brought in Tua Tagovailoa to battle him for the starting job. It's tough to feel optimistic about either player. I'm sorry, guys. Falcons are not winning 6 games. Their total is set at 6.5. I think they win 3 or 4 games this year because totally new regime, totally new head coach. They don't know who their quarterback is. It's a shit show over there. Excuse my language, but their verdict is less than 6.5 wins. CBS had that. They're very low on the Atlanta Falcons, and that's the only thing that I really agree with them on in terms of what they said in this article. But with the Atlanta Falcons being as bad as they will be in 2026, I could eat my words, but I could almost guarantee like my rent money that the Atlanta Falcons are not going to be good in 2026. And if you agree with me, and if you think we will sweep the Atlanta Falcons this year in 2026 because they always seem to have our number every year, the third and long, fourth down, like if you agree and if you think that we'll sweep the Atlanta Falcons this year, make sure to hit the subscribe button. You get free, fun Bucs content all off season long, trying to give you guys the best content possible in terms of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and talking about these articles from CBS Sports that are dogging us. And if you like it, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Costs $0 and you get some fun, free Bucs content. Before we continue on with what they had to say about the rest of the NFC South and your own Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I want to give a huge shout out to our presenting sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Now, I had a lineup last night with the finals going on right now. I just kind of want to take a look at it. It was not so good. I lost, right? I did lose, but I kind of wanted to show you guys what it looks like in terms of potentially winning and sort of go through what happened last night. So this was $20 to win $600. De'Aaron Fox, this was the less on assists. He was good. I was actually very, very worried while I was watching the game last night, and he got to 5, and maybe like around like the third quarter, and then he just stopped. And then we got Jalen Brunson, that free max discount that PrizePicks likes to give. And then Mikal Bridges. I had him 13 field goals made, more than that, and he was only at 6. So they were not using Mikal Bridges as much. The Knicks were, so that was unfortunate. And then OG Anunoby, I had on the 1.5 blocks and steals. That one was good. And then Stephon Castle, I had the less on his points. That did not go. And then Victor Wembanyama and Karl Anthony Towns combo, 4 rebounds, just barely missed on those last 2. So unfortunately, I did not win. But if you guys want to follow me on the social feeds feature, you can do that. I'm at Reed Barkus. So you guys could have maybe didn't like my lineup last night because it did not hit. But if you guys want to follow me over there, PrizePicks has a great social feeds feature. And if you're a new user, you can download the PrizePicks app today with the link in the comments and description. Use code HMA. You'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. One more time, that's code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Make sure to go put a lineup in for the finals coming up. All right, next up, we're going to talk about the Carolina Panthers. Now, everyone is so high on the Carolina Panthers. Oh, they made the playoffs. Oh, they almost beat the Rams in the wild card. I'm not high on the Carolina Panthers. Let's look at their last 5 games and sort of talk about it, right? How did they get into the playoffs? Because they squeaked in. Their last 5 games, they lost to the New Orleans Saints with Tyler Shuck, 17-20. Week 16 against your very own Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they won 23-20. Oh, wow, okay. No, it was tied. They get a field goal. Sorry, our studio back here is getting pretty loud. The Buccaneers, they were driving towards the end of that game, and a miscommunication between Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield is why they stopped. They were at like the 40-yard line. You guys remember this game. It's not like they dominated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? So that's a barely win. And then the Seahawks, they got stomped. And then we beat them in a very wet game in Week 18. And then they barely lost to the Los Angeles Rams, who, good team, but, they squeaked into the playoffs. Like, why is everybody so high on the Carolina Panthers? Yeah, they made some good additions, and we'll look at those in a second. But, like, Bryce Young, yeah, he's good, but is he the real deal? Like, a lot of people are so high on Bryce Young now, and it's like, oh, as long as you surround him with players. Like, yeah, they added a good amount of players, but, like, I don't think they're all of a sudden the top dogs in the NFC South. It's like, oh, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're fading. That's what CBS Sports, they're fading. The Saints and Panthers are coming up. What are we talking about? Yeah, they made great additions in Devin Lloyd. He's a great linebacker. Jalen Phillips, they pay him a lot of money to be their edge rusher. Monroe Freeling, the offensive tackle in the draft. Lee Hunter, great playmaker, right? And then Chris Brazzell, who is all he can really do is just post and streaks. But he's gotten better. Bryce Young has gotten better. But I think people think he's way better than he actually is. He's a mid QB in the NFL. He's average. There's a reason why they used his 5th option. They're not ready to extend him because they need to see more. He had a good year last year. I'll give him that. He's good down the stretch in terms of clutch plays and stuff. But he's nowhere near what people are putting him on this pedestal. And I think we have to wrap our minds around, he got benched. Andy Dalton was their quarterback. Like, I'm sorry. We have a better pass rush this year than last year, and we got to Bryce last year with an average squad. We got Servassier Dennis getting sacks on him in Week 16. NFL media is way too high on the Carolina Panthers. They'll have a good year. I don't think they're going to be terrible. Ted McMillan's a great player. Bryce Young, if he can figure it out. But, of course, CBS has them at more than 7.5 wins in 2026. They think they're going to be great. I don't think they're going to be bad. I think they're going to be as average as they've been, with a good chance that they just don't figure it out. Now, moving on to the New Orleans Saints, who I think actually might be a threat. Not because they're just better. They did get a little bit better. But because Warren Sharp's strength of schedule graph, this is 2026 NFL strength of schedule based on Vegas forecasted win totals, which is what we're talking about today. They are second. They have the second easiest schedule in the NFL in 2026. So that begs the idea that they're probably going to have more wins than they did last year. And they had a good stretch towards the end of the year. I think their offense is going to be a lot better. Tyler Shuck, he's, I think, better than Bryce Young in terms of Baker Mayfield's the best quarterback in the division right now. And then I think it's Tyler Shuck and Bryce Young and then whoever they put out for the Falcons. But they made Chris Olave, great wide receiver one. Jordan Tyson, he's going to be a great playmaker, a huge threat on the outside. Devon Vele they got last year as well. Travis Etienne, they get in free agency. Alvin Kamara could or could not come back depending on what happens. He could retire, and they also pick up Oscar Delp from the draft. Juwan Johnson is really feeling himself at that tight end position as well. And then they made some offensive line additions as well. David Edwards. Eric McCoy's a great center. Talois Fuaga is a great tackle as well. Same thing with Kelvin Banks. So as long as their offensive line stays healthy, their offense actually might be better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. But we both battle with injuries a lot, and it's sort of a toss-up, I'd say, is 50-50. Their wide receiver group is better with Chris Olave, and we just lost Mike Evans. But that's not what really I'm talking about in terms of how the Saints are not better than the Bucs. They lost a lot on defense. Cam Jordan, potentially, as I'm filming this video right now, he is not signed with New Orleans. And he actually had 10-plus sack season last year. And he's getting up there. He's battling Father Time right now. But he could retire. They lose Demario Davis to the Jets. And then Lavonte Taylor, their cornerback, they lose to Tennessee Titans in free agency. So I think they lost a lot more on defense than they were expecting. And then they gained some on offense. Their defense is going to be their Achilles heel. If the Saints do not win the division, it is because their defense could not help their offense enough, right? Last year, our offense was pretty good, but our defense is what really held us down, and I think that's what's going to happen to the Saints this year. And, of course, CBS has them winning more than 7.5 games in 2026. Disrespect, I think. It's just disrespectful. And now we get to the Bucs. Of course, I mean, you could probably tell from what I'm thinking right now. It's not good. And I kind of want to just give you everything that the CBS Sports is said in their article. I just want to let you read everything from this article because it is... I just... Not sick to my stomach when I was reading it, but it really made me upset because they think we're done. They think our time has passed winning the division and being a good team. So here's what CBS Sports had to say. There's a reality where the Buccaneers shake off what happened in 2025 and take their rightful place atop the NFC South once again. And there's a legitimate changing of the guard that will become clear in the coming months. Baker Mayfield looked like an MVP favorite early in the year, throwing 12 touchdowns and just 1 interception in the first 6 games, but he finished throwing 14 touchdowns and 10 interceptions in the final 11 games. His 217.2 passing yards per game and 26 passing touchdowns ranked the fewest since joining the Bucs in 2023. Now, he's going through his 4th offensive coordinator change in as many years and has lost his trusted number 1 wideout, Mike Evans. The Bucs have gone 4-8 without Evans over the last 2 seasons. The Buccaneers defense hasn't finished in the top half of the league in 3 straight years now, and they lost legendary linebacker Lavonte David and cornerback Jamel Dean. I'm not exactly bullish on the Bucs entering 2026, and I find it fascinating that Vegas isn't either. Tampa Bay is plus money to finish with a winning record. I know it's not like a crazy thing to say like that. It feels like they're writing us off already. Does it not? Like that's sort of what it feels like is they're like, oh, yeah, they had a terrible end to last season and they lost the division because they couldn't win a game. And then, yeah, we're just going to write him off. They're not very bullish on. I hate that. Baker was hurt. This is my rebuttal to CBS, by the way. Baker was hurt. He hurt his shoulder. So it's like, oh, yeah, he had a great start to the season. What do you think happened? He just stopped playing? No. He lost some of his weapons. Chris Godwin got hurt. Mike Evans got hurt. He doesn't have Jalen McMillan. He hurt his shoulder, and his O-line was hurt. Like, there's reasons to why Baker was not good. Like, why are you going to leave that out, right? There's many reasons of why Baker was not good and what happened. The wide receiver core is still strong without Mike. Yes, losing a guy who's been with you for 12 seasons is a huge part. It's a huge part of your offense. But I still think our wide receiver core is good. Mecca Buka. I mean, you guys see that catch in OTAs? He's unbelievable. He's going to have a great second year. Jalen McMillan coming back. He's going to have a great year. Chris Godwin really stepping into that veteran wide receiver role. He's going to have a good year if he can stay healthy. Ted Hurst. He's going to get a lot of run in the outside. Like, yes, we lost Mike Evans, but let's move on. We have good wide receivers in this room. It wasn't all Mike Evans. And by the way, our defense got better, in my opinion. You can say, like, oh, yeah, you add a bunch of veteran guys and maybe an older defense. I think our defense is good. We added a lot of guys. Some notable defensive draft picks. Reuben Bain Jr., obviously. He's going to be a wrecking ball. Josiah Trotter, he's a great downhill, in the box, run-stopping linebacker. That's what we needed last year. Keontae Scott, same thing. Can play in the box. Is great in coverage and making plays. He's going to be good. And then DeMonte Capehart, bolstering that defensive line. They wanted to get bigger. He's huge. So we're doing everything we can to make sure that we can be better. And I think this guy is going to do very, very well. And if you guys agree, make sure to take advantage of our 20% off Father's Day sale, chatsports.com/Bain. We got Tampa Bain shirts. These are absolutely unbelievable. He's doing his sack celebration with the Bain mask. If you guys are looking for a Father's Day gift for your grandpa, your dad, 20% off all the way until 11:59 p.m. tonight, Eastern Time. So if you guys want to get any Father's Day sales that are coming in the mail in time for Father's Day, we got 20% off this shirt right here, Tampa Bain. Get yourself some good Bucs gear. All right, talking about some more notable defensive free agent additions. Alex Anzalone, he's going to take in that green dot role that Lavonte David had for so many years. Al-Quadin Muhammad, 11.5 sacks last year. Producer Jeremy was looking at Al-Quadin Muhammad on our computer earlier, and he was like, 11.5 sacks? Yeah, like, people are sleeping on the signings that the Bucs have made. A'Shawn Robinson. Dude, this guy is huge. Great veteran leader. Him and Nacho are very loud at practice. He's a great addition, and he's going to be a huge presence on that defensive line with Vita Vea. So, like, there's all reasons why we should be winning more than 8.5 wins. Like, we should have more than 8.5 wins. Like, my record prediction was 10. And then I felt like that was like, I feel like we could squeeze out another couple wins. So CBS saying, oh, the Bucs are fading out of the NFC South. Give me a freaking break, guys. We may not be as good as we've been in years before, but I don't think we're going to win less than 8.5. If you guys think CBS is disrespecting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, get in the comments section and type Y for yes. If you think no, please let me know. If you're like, well, Todd Bowles is not a great head coach, I could maybe get behind that, but I think disrespecting the CBS is disrespecting the Bucs by saying they're fading out of the NFC South and aren't going to win more than 8.5 wins. So get in the comments section. I love seeing what you guys have to say down there. And if you made it all the way to the end of today's video, I appreciate you so much. You are a real one, and that means you're enjoying the content, what me and producer Jeremy are putting out here. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. You get free, fun Bucs content all offseason long, and you get to hang out with me every time you watch the video. All right, thank you so much for watching at the end of the video. I'll see you guys next time. As always, fire the cannon.